I'm Edie Lush, and I'm here in the Hub Culture Pavilion in Davos. Very pleased to be joined by Mark Turrell. He's the author of a new ebook called Scaling. Tell me a little bit about it.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yep.
The fastest selling book of all history is a pornographic novel. Wouldn't you be interested to find out why?
Yes. Well, I'd be interested.
Well, you obviously have to read the book to find out. Okay, we can't cover this in 3. Fall of the Berlin Wall happened in 24 hours. The end of communism, East Germany. Same reasons.
Okay, I'm waiting. What are they?
Read them. What I have, page 2? No. So what I've been looking at is like, how do things scale? And here at Davos, everybody's interested in scaling, making things go big, and not just about growth, but also social change and everything else. So I spent the last 3 years working on how things spread and how things scale. So by looking at case studies, by looking at methods, I've managed to work out what are the ways you can actually scale things deliberately. So I put them into this book, and it just turns out that 50 Shades of Grey is an incredibly good case study, even if it's not that good of a book.
Right. So tell me a little bit about how she was able to scale with this book.
50 Shades of Grey is very deliberate. And so when she started writing, it was fan fiction from Twilight. Twilight has 116 million readers already, which means fan fiction from Twilight will always be read by at least 1 million people. And she hadn't finished writing when she was sort of halfway through. So she published it on fan fiction websites to get the power of the crowd to help her. She's from London. So a Londoner really struggles to find out what's going on in Seattle. But it turns out that people called beta readers, and these beta readers will see the Londoner book, and she'll be saying, they went to a Starbucks. And no, they went to Pete's Coffee on this corner.
Right. Okay.
So right now the power of the crowd helped her. She was helped by Devolicious Moms. So there's something called hubs and amplifiers. I guess hub is very appropriate for the hub.
About those.
Hubs are good. So within a hub right now, there was this sort of hub of, let's call it kind of desperate housewives clique. That got her into the press in New York. She was invited to do a 200-person exclusive book signing. Apparently, the day after the book signing, the books that she signed were available on eBay for $800.
Wow.
But the key thing was that she met somebody from Random House. That meant that she was able to sign a 7-figure book deal. And as soon as Random House had picked up 50 Shades of Grey, the New York Times could cover it.
Okay.
This pretty much then took a book that was kind of weird. A pornographic BDSM novel should not normally be the thing that everybody is reading.
Yeah.
And yet right now, because the New York Times could cover it, then CNN, and then there's a movie thing, and this thing just propelled. In 3 months, it sold 30 million copies. This is a $400 million business out of nowhere.
So how would you compare what she did with that to what an internet company would be trying to do, for example?
Well, I think it's the same goals of like sort of scale. So you have relatively little resources, and you really have these big dreams, these big visions. So what are the small things that you can do? So there are some things that we can learn from 50 Shades of Grey. For example, the hubs and amplifiers. This then says that you want to spread your website, your web service. If you find, let's say, communities or groups, and find the people that run, let's say, a trade association, a network, you can pretty much get your message into that network and propagate it through the hub, and then sometimes use the press to amplify it. That'll be one example, and there are many, many others as well.
I want to hear them, but we've got to wrap it up. Mark, thank you so much for coming in.
Brilliant. Thank you ever so much.
Pavilion
Brilliant. Thank you.
Here in Davos.